Welcome back, guys. Go ahead and get you a cup. So, question. Are you a Second Amendment believer? Or are you a Second Amendment supporter? I'll let you think on that a second. There's a difference. If you hear someone say, I support the Second Amendment, but, full stop. As soon as the word but comes out of their mouth, they neither support nor believe in the Second Amendment. Okay? Because the but adds conditions. Second Amendment has no conditions. It's not conditional. Now, this is probably going to be unpopular and probably make me even more unpopular in some circles than I already am, but I don't really care. There are a lot of folks out there, including right here on YouTube, social media, everywhere else, big gun channels with thousands of subscribers, people in the firearms industry that are Second Amendment supporters, but they're not believers. They don't believe in the true meaning and intent of the Second Amendment. In fact, if you listen to what they say, they bear it out themselves because they won't ever talk about what the Second Amendment really means. Oh, they'll talk about firearms ownership as a hobby, which it's not. They'll talk about it as a sport, which it's not. They'll talk about it in all kind of contexts except the real, true meaning and context of it. And as I've said before in other videos, the real true meaning of the context of the Second Amendment is about killing people, which is all the more reason why it ain't a sport and it ain't a hobby. It's not something that should be looked at as a happy-go-lucky fun thing. It's deadly serious, and the founders meant it to be deadly serious. It was a serious check mark and warning to people who would try to harm you via their position in the government or all the way down to foreign invaders or a lowly street thug. It was a warning to them that there will be deadly consequences should they try to violate your basic God-given rights as enumerated and reaffirmed in the Constitution. That if they try to do that, they can and will die as a result of it, because we are armed and fully justified under the eyes of God and man in protecting ourselves, others, and those rights. I've said it before, and I just feel like time to say it again. Part of the reason why we're where we're at, part of the reason why we have some of the laws that we do, is due to the way people phrase things and the words that they allow others to use, the narrative they allow to be set, and the things they go along with. For example, it's no coincidence that the reason there's a large list of restrictions that we have on guns falls under what's known as the sporting clause. There's a reason why it's called that. Because too many people for too long tried to relate firearms ownership in the Second Amendment to a sport, i.e. hunting or games or hobbies or whatever. A sport. An innocuous little sport. It ain't that. Stop. Some of you bigger gun channels know this, but some of you won't come out and say it. I don't know why, but you won't. If everybody that had the voice that they do amongst some of the big folks would all come out and speak the truth, you might be surprised at the traction that's gained. I'm probably just tilting at windmills here, as they say. Again, because I'm not big enough to affect anything, and making videos like this is not going to gain me any popularity amongst the bigger in crowd anyway, which I don't care. I'm not doing this to be a part of the in crowd or socialize with the cool kid club. I believe in the intent of the Second Amendment. It's about protecting ourselves, protecting each other, protecting our God-given rights, protecting our Constitution, protecting our country, protecting our property, etc., etc. So remember that the next time somebody tells you, or you read somewhere, I support the Second Amendment, but right then you can 150% write them off. They do not support the Second Amendment. And pay attention to who actually ever talks about the true point of the Second Amendment and what they relate it to as far as hobbies and sports, etc. And I'll also caution you this: be very careful of letting others pervert the Second Amendment to their own means. And what I mean by that is, when the Second Amendment is for everyone, it's not for one particular group of people, segment of society, etc., or another. Okay? Think about that, especially given current events in the news and everything else. And mind you, with the Second Amendment and with that right and that power comes a heck of a lot of responsibility. And yes, you can 100% lose that right, in my eyes, depending on what you do or what you try to do. There's plenty of ways that you should be denied that right. But we're not going to segment it out and try to make it so that one group's more important than another of why they should own guns. If you're a legal, law-abiding citizen, that's the criteria whether or not you maintain your constitutional rights. We could go in more depth on that, but I don't want to be here 5 hours, because that would probably only scratch the surface. We could go ad nauseum, but just something that's been on my mind, and I wanted to throw that out there to you. Keep that in the back of your head, and maybe we'll touch on it again in the future. But hope you guys have a good rest of your day, good rest of your week, whenever it is that you're watching this. Take care. Go get trained. Go practice and exercise that Second Amendment right. And I'll see you later.